Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Strive Defense Dialogue. I'm your host, Brigadier Rakesh Bhatia, and today our guest is Col Ajay Raina. Welcome to the show once again, Col Ajay Raina.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind and good evening to you and good evening, everybody, sir. Nice to be back here, sir.
Very nice. Col Ajay, you have recently written yet another book. Now, this book is on General Zorawar Singh. So I was very impressed at which the speed at which you are writing these books. Just for our
So,
viewers, now on the left of the screen are about 24 plus books.
yes, sir.
This is
This
the
is 25th,
25th.
sir.
This
This
is
is
the
25th.
25th book. The cover and the back cover you can see. So this is the addition to his library, and the author and the researcher that you are. I went through this book. There are so many references in this book that I'll have to probably go through another 25 to 30 books and documents to in case I want to see. You have cited so much of literature on the issue.
Sir.
Thank you very much, Kal Ajay.
Thank
Now,
you, sir.
today's program, we will, of course, review your book also. And
Sir.
I'm sure our audience would learn about General Zorawar Singh. Now, General Zorawar, when we talk about General Zorawar, he inspires so much of confidence in our own army community of late. Unfortunately, you see, whenever we were part of British Army, we were most of the time fighting either in the plains or deserts or in higher Himalayan. If you look at a war exclusively on the Himalayan, there is Indian Army has fought no war other than 1962, which was a fiasco.
Sir.
The most successful war was by General Zorawar Singh, who walked miles and miles through difficult areas and terrain. And study of this book will, I am sure, explain the problems which exist in the mountains, the peculiarities of the mountains. But this is what I presume. What was your motivation? What inspired you to pick up this subject?
Thank you, sir, once again, sir, for kind words. Uh, sir, this Ladakh happened, Galwan happened. So that was a trigger. But General Zorawar Singh, I think we're going bilingual, sir, or I'm sorry.
Anything.
Yeah.
Kuch bhi.
So, sir, being a Dogra from Jammu and Kashmir, like Zorawar Singh has been part of our army legacy. In Jammu, also we remember him because he was our general, Dogra general. Uh, and this book, sir, you mentioned about the citations on it. I mean, there are some 300 notes, footnotes.
Yeah.
This book has taken me 2.5 years to research because this is very subject very close to my heart, and I wanted my 25th to be a very special book, and this is what it is. So passion, we grew up, sir, hearing his tales and kahaniyan sunte sunte hum bade hue hain, sir. And then when Galwan happened, then it triggered me that no, this is right time. People must realize कि जिस land के लिए हम आज लड़ रहे हैं और we claim is ours, जो चाइना के पास है, who's the person who actually gave it to us?
Yes.
We should be looking back. I think it's time कि हम उन लोगों को पहचाने जाने उनके बारे में पढ़ें, सर, जिनके कारण आज हम छाती ठोक के बोलते हैं कि चाइना हमारे एक्साइजन के अंदर घुसा हुआ है. But for his deeds, we wouldn't have even crossed Great Himalayan Range. Forget about Ladakh. Tibet तो छोड़ दीजिए, Baltistan. So it's a
Absolutely.
combination. Trigger was here, sir. Trigger was here.
Okay, now that you started with a very interesting note that आज जिस चीन की हम बात करते हैं, जो हम LAC की बात करते हैं, चाहे वो अक्साई चीन का एरिया है, चाहे वो स्कार्दू का एरिया है, और our claims on Gilgit, Baltistan, all this area, it is because of General Zorawar Singh. So
Right, sir.
I will request you to briefly tell us about his operations. I'll flash a map for you, which will be of probably assist you to just one sec. Yeah.
Sir.
Now, this is what I picked up from the net. Just
Okay.
explain it to us that how exactly what was Wazir Zorawar Singh's route that we still have this part of Tibet, Leh, Ladakh, which is with
Sir,
us. Otherwise, it would have been part of China.
that's right. Sir, before I come to this roots, I'll explain, sir. I think our viewers must understand the overall geopolitics of that time, sir, because people
Yes, I'm
they
extremely sorry.
misunderstand.
You have also read in your book, you have actually given the context. I missed out on the context.
Sir,
Let's
sir,
now go back in time, the way you
sir,
have explained. Let's
sir.
go back in time and see
Yes,
what exactly was existing at that time. Then probably the viewers will be able to, correlate better. Yeah, please go ahead with
sir.
little bit of how, where, and what was happening around that area.
Yes. Sir, that time when Zoravar Singh came to Kishtwar, he was made governor of Kishtwar, sir. This was 1823. And this was just after Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who was the Sikh emperor, and he had given Jammu Raj to Raja Gulab Singh. So Raja Gulab Singh that time was part of Sikh Empire. There was nothing called Dogra Empire at that time. So we acknowledge that it was overall Khalsa Empire with the seat of power at Lahore. But problem with the Khalsa Empire was that when Britishers came creeping up to Satluj, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh had few enclaves to the south of Satluj, but he was a wise man. He understood power Britishers had, and Sikhs had been fragmented. All the missiles were happening. So when he consolidated missiles in 1801 and he established Khalsa Raj, one thing he understood that there was no point taking panga with Britishers at that time. The British were growing like anything. So what he
Well,
did,
Ajay, I'll just interrupt you. Missile for our viewers, please explain what is a missile. And
okay, sir,
like you have named in your books,
sir, are
just
there?
mention few of
Yes.
them. Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. There was Suksharia, there was Bangi clan. So what had actually happened, sir, when Mughals, Afghans, and local Muslim governors were threatening Sikhs and Hindu belief system in Punjab, today's Punjab. So Sikhs had a system called missiles. So they distributed the area, and they were actually fighting communities. So there were earlier there were 12, then there were 13, and then 14. So Suksharnia, Bangi missile, there was many of them. The common aim in front of them was to ward off the threat to the faith and keep the area under control. So, but at one point of time, what happened? These missiles started fighting with each other. So
Then
this
they had
was
no
Maharaja Ranjit.
external threat,
Yes,
as usual.
it happens. I mean, it happens in 50 years' time. It happens. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh in 1801, he is the one who actually consolidated all of them and brought them under one control. And missile system thereafter ceased to exist. Earlier they had Akali Dal Khalsa and Akali. Somebody was supposed to protect Harmandir Sahab. Somebody was supposed to go and fight on the front. So it was a very good system. It started, but after around 5 years, 5 decades, things had gone a bit out of control. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh is the one who brought everybody under one umbrella and created Khalsa Raj.
And he was from Sukcharia, Mr.
Sukhchari. His father died, sir, and so he took over at a young age. But same time there were problems happening with Sikhs, between Sikhs and British. Marathas came and took shelters in Maharaja Ranjit Singh. There's a long story. I think we may not go
Yeah.
into all that, sir. Suffice to say, there was a compromise between Maharaja Ranjit Singh and British. The Satluj and up north, British will have no say, and Satluj and south of Satluj, Maharaja Ranjit Singh gave up all claim over Punjab territory. So while we call him Sher Punjab, we must understand that in his lifetime he didn't rule south of Satluj. So his rule was only to the north of Satluj. To the west was Sindh. So the treaty which was signed between Britishers and Maharaja Ranjit Singh, it read the boundary between two empires will run along river Satluj. Now Maharaja Ranjit Singh, like a noble person he took it that all the way to Arabian Sea. But Britishers later on said, no, we meant till that time Satluj goes and confluences with Indus. So that confusion, the British was the masters of the game. So they kept this ambiguity in the agreement. But that was, of course, come into play later on when Sindh was taken by Britishers. So only option left for Maharaja Ranjit Singh was to expand north, east, and west. Now, east may beyond Himachal, he couldn't because Britishers had also taken Garhwal. So the Khalsa Empire could not go into Garhwal, which was British Garhwal. To the west, as we know, he went all the way to Peshawar. Peshawar that time was part of Afghanistan. That's why we say Afghanistan was, though Ranjit Singh's army never went to Kabul. This was Khyber Pass and all was taken. Multan was taken. Now up north, there was Jammu Hills, which Sikhs had been attacking, fighting, and actually Gulab Singh had actually fought Maharaja Ranjit Singh's army. And in his fight, when he was 13 years old, he was identified to be a very good fighter and picked up a Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Later on, he rose
So
through
you're
ranks,
talking
three
about
brothers,
Gulab Singh.
Gulab Singh. So there were three brothers. So in 1822, Maharaja Gulab Singh made Maharaja Ranjit Singh gave Jammu to Raja Gulab Singh as his own part of his own empire, and nominated him as Raja. And he was one guy, only person under Maharaja Ranjit Singh who had liberty to keep as much army he could keep. Otherwise, all of the generals who were under similar arrangements in Sikh Empire had a limitation: 250, 300, 400 soldiers. So now, if you look at the overall geography that time, sir, सतलुज के नीचे आप जा नहीं सकते, उधर पेशावर पहुंच गए, ईस्ट में आप जा नहीं सकते. ना ओनली एक्सपेंशन वाज टू द नॉर्थ. कश्मीर सिक्स had taken, अफगान को भगा के सिक्स had captured कश्मीर. Abhi, look at Maharaja Gulab Singh. No, lot of people have been very unfair to him. Historians very unfair to him, both Western and Punjab-based historians. He had a mind of he was a strategist. उनको ये पता था सर कि कल को महाराजा रणजीत सिंह को, लाइक ऑल ऑफ अस मॉडल्स विल गो, महाराजा रणजीत सिंह भी जाएंगे. उनको ये भी पता था कि उसके बाद गदर मचेगा, जो कि मचा. और आप देखिए महाराजा रणजीत सिंह की जो फैमिली खत्म ही होगी उसकी. महाराजा दलीप सिंह वाज टेकन टू इंग्लैंड एंड कन्वर्टेड एंड एंड ऑफ इट. सो ही वांटेड कि एक टाइम आएगा जब मेरे को जम्मू राज जो है मेरी स्टेट बनेगी. बट जम्मू वाज टू स्मॉल. कश्मीर में ही डिडंट वांट टू गो बिकॉज जो महाराजा रणजीत सिंह की कंपल्शन थी कि ही कुडंट गो साउथ ऑफ सतलुज. Gulab Singh could not go into Kashmir because Kashmir was already with Sikhs. The only option left then was to go up north, across Great Himalayan range, which nobody ever imagined that time, get into Ladakh, then turn left, go into Baltistan. Gilgit, Zorawar Singh was not allowed to go because of politics in Sikh Empire, Lahore. He was called back from a place called, he captured Skardu, then he went west, and from there he was called back. And then he swept into Tibet. Now, the implication of this campaign was, sir, there was a Hindu kingdom in Nepal which had problems with Britishers. British had defeated them, but they knew that the potent force in Nepal. Now, when Zorawar Singh started looking that side, there came a point when Zorawar Singh and Nepal separation was only 15 miles, and Britishers got jittery. Because गढ़वाल उन्होंने इसलिए लिया था कि सर कि सिख अंपायर और हिंदू अंपायर ऑफ नेपाल शुड नेवर जॉइन हैंड्स. अगर वो दोनों हाथ मिला लेते तो ब्रिटिशर्स की कहानी बदल जाती. दिस वाज देयर ओनली एम. एंड व्हेन वी रीड जोरावर सिंह स्टोरी, जिस दिन उनकी द डे ही डाइड फाइटिंग, उस दिन उसको ऑर्डर्स आ चुके थे टू विड्रॉ, कम बैक, बिकॉज ब्रिटिशर्स आर स्टार्टेड स्वेटिंग. दे सेड नाउ नेपाल एंड Sikh Empire via Dogras are going to join, and this axis of power starting from Nepal and ending in Lahore will be too difficult to handle. So it was that context. The only option left to Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and he allowed, and to Raja Gulab Singh, was to go up north. And the going up north, like you said, that nobody's ever fought like that and so successfully, जिसके कारण हम जनरल जोरावर सिंह को याद करते हैं सर. ये जो रूट्स हैं सर, इसको आप देखेंगे जम्मू जहाँ लिखा है सर, उसके बाद there were 3 routes to go to Ladakh that time. One was via Kashmir.
Correct.
Now Kashmir was under Sikhs, like I said. उनका जो गवर्नर था कर्नल महान सिंह, he was a very ambitious man, and he was very happy getting revenue of Pashmina trade from Ladakh. Now anybody capturing Ladakh, Sikhs had never gone to Ladakh, but Mughals had taken Ladakh. So एक पुराना सिस्टम चल रहा था मुगल के टाइम से, जो सिख्स ने उनको इनहेरिट किया था, कि वहां से जितना भी पश्मीना आएगा पहले कश्मीर में आएगा और कश्मीर से प्रोसेस होकर बाहर जाएगा. लद्दाख में प्रोसेसिंग नॉट अलाउड, एंड दे डिडंट हैव wherewithal. So best route was to go via Zuzila, 11,000 feet, and it was a track but well bitten.
Yes.
Gulab Singh knew that Mahan Singh will not allow, and he Maharaja Ranjit Singh के कान भर देगा, और उसने बड़ी बार कान भरे भी थे, तो he didn't go that way. Second option was go via Botla. There's a Maru Wadwan Valley to the north of Kishtwar. चिराग को क्रॉस करके वहां से बहुत खुला है, जिसको which is about 14,000 feet, 14,500 feet. वो जाके निकलता है सुरू में, Suru, which is part of Kargil. And third route was from Kishtwar you climb Umasila, which is 17,400 or something, 70,000 plus. One of the most difficult passes. आज भी लोग नहीं जाते. It's called Pass of Death.
Yes.
तो कश्मीर वाला छोड़ दिया, and he took, first time he went via Suru, came back via Zanskar, and then he went 5 times. Once he went in the peak of winters, जब पीछे revolt हो गया था, because Ladakhis were fighting again. I mean, they were raising the banner of rebellion. तो peak of winter, sir, having lost 25 people, 25 soldiers were killed in crossing while crossing Umasila. And then if you look at the timeline which I've given in the books, it's
Yeah.
impossible, sir. I mean, today also, a well-established trekker with all the equipment
For, for
will
our
not be.
viewers, no, this is the type of terrain which
Yes.
I picked up a 3D photograph. You see
So,
where Kishtwar is written, and onto the east is Janskar,
so,
5077 meters. If you convert it into feet, it works out to about
so,
16,000 feet.
so,
And look at this. This is all snow. And look at the
so,
number of ridges. And he literally went over these ridges, because you and me are aware, whosoever has served in mountains, that crossing, losing height and then gaining height again, he's moved against the terrain.
this milk white thing is a perpetual snow, sir. Even today,
Yes.
it was there
Yes.
that
Even
time. Even today's, it's a great Himalayan range, sir. So
Yeah,
it is
it's a great
always
Himalayan range. And look at the passes one after the other. They're all about 16, 15, 17,000 feet high. And you
so.
see, how many years with modern technology we've also taken. Now you can actually say that Zozila Tunnel has come up, and there is a perennial supply to Leh after this. And then there's another route through Manali.
Ro-
But
Rotang, yes.
this Rotang, this thing. So now this particular route, तो even today हम लोग नहीं बना पाए, और ना ही यहाँ से कोई जाता है.
So,
And the way you are saying कि 5 बार इस route पे, and you see the amount of surprise he must have achieved. This will talk ahead. I have
so,
another question for you. Yeah, you can carry on,
so.
please.
And so he goes to, first time he goes to Suru, then reaches Leh, comes back via Janskar. Second time when the revolt happens, he goes via Janskar Ulta, peak of
Yeah.
winters. So 5 trips he makes. And then finally in 1840, he turns west and goes into Baltistan, takes Kardu, and then his army is moving towards Gilgit. There's a time when Governor of Kashmir started cribbing to Maharaja Ranjit Singh, so he was told to halt, come back.
Yeah.
Now his options left there afterwards. He couldn't go west. He wanted to go north. Now north was Sinkiang, across
Hmm.
Karakoram Pass. तो उसके गवर्नर को उसने बोल दिया कि बेटा तैयार हो जा.
Ah,
His way of working was that he'll find an excuse to invade. Like Ladakh also invaded on invitation by local
correct.
Rajas who were not happy with the Gyalpo of Leh. Gyalpo of Leh was the overall ruler of complete Ladakh. When
Correct.
he went to Baltistan, Skardu's king, who was overall ruler of 15, 16 principalities within Baltistan, his son had crossed over to Zorawar and told him, "हमारे साथ चलो." So he always looked for an excuse to invade. So कल को ये कोई ना कहे कि ऐसे चला गया. So when he wanted to go to Xinjiang, उस time, sir, the Opium War, China and British, those things were on, and there was a compromise happening same time,
Correct.
a
Correct.
ceasefire kind of a thing. So Britishers said, no, उस तरफ नहीं जाना. Now
Hmm.
he want only place left for Tibet. So bahana koi nahi tha. So he dug out the history and he sent a message to the local governor there कि 100 साल पहले लद्दाख के राजा का राज था कि 1700 something में. So now you start paying revenue to us, tribute to us,
Yes.
or you come. And that's the
Yes.
bahana I took, and he went all the way. But sir, in a recent seminar, I actually discovered one good thing, that he wanted to reclaim what is the center of Indian civilization, Kailash Mansarovar.
Kailash Mountains.
Because our Mahadev stays there. I mean, Mahadev is everywhere, but it's a
Yes.
seat of Mahadev. So that symbolism was there. He was an ardent follower of Durga Mata and
Shiva.
of course Shiva. And so he reached all the way. He took dip in Mansarovar, Kailash Mansarovar.
Yes. He
And
took.
next to Talkaklo, the place, of course, where he met his end. But
Hmm.
thing what we need to understand, so this, while thereafter there was a Chishul agreement which happened actually in Leh, because then Tibetans came all the way to Leh and attacked Dogra fort there, and then reinforcement reached and they were beaten back. And thereafter, the written understanding was that whatever has been the traditional boundary between Tibet and Ladakh will be honored by both sides.
Hmm.
And that is the boundary, sir, which many years later became Johnson survey line. Maharaja Ranveer Singh's time the survey was carried out. And this is a claim which India today has over these are the lines, sir. So Johnson's line is the rightmost, where you see the arrow. And
International boundary according to India. We are still
yes,
following the line. This was the
so
Chusul Agreement.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
So,
okay. Well, Ajay, I want to ask you, I read somewhere that
sir.
Britishers at that time were also scared of Zorawar Singh's, campaigns too often into, area of Baltistan and then going on to Karakoram Pass, because probably Britishers was scared at that time it will invite the attention of Russians or USSR, and that is why there was there was a requirement of putting across a line which actually restrained Maharaja Gulab Singh, and he was told that this is the final line. So it was Chusul was probably engineered by the Britishers.
Actually, sir, uh, main factor was the likelihood of Hindu Nepal shaking hands with Khalsa Empire,
Yeah, they
which was
he had gone too
British's
close to. Hmm.
nightmare. Yes, sir. They couldn't take it. As far as Russians are concerned, it makes a lot of sense, sir. If you remember when Maharaja Dalip Singh was visiting Russia, that's the
Yes.
time Maharaja Hari Singh in Jammu and Kashmir was creating problems for Britishers, and they became jittery. And then we have the 1931 riots, and that is a different story. And then
Yes.
finally, Gilgit was taken by them on lease by Britishers for
And
60
then handed
years.
over to Pakistan. This we have covered in
19
one of the hour.
yes, sir, 1935. So
Hmm.
yes, there were reasons, and they stopped him from going beyond Karakoram range because China के साथ Opium War 2 was about to get over, and they were reaching agreements that they didn't want to upset. So Zoravar's वो जो localized कहने को अपने एक दूर दराज इलाके में लगा हुआ था जनरल जोरावर सिंह, it had global implications. I mean,
Yes.
implications for British, it had implications for Chinese, it had implications for Russians, and it had implications for everybody else. So yes, उस time की strategy के हिसाब से देखेंगे sir, he was doing something which was upsetting many people, and
Yeah.
actually he had been recalled by order कि वापस आ
Hmm.
जाओ, but before the order could reach, he had met his end. That is
Yeah.
12th December
We'll
1845.
talk about his end. Now,
So
when we talk about General Zorawar Singh, if you really look at it, there were a lot of qualities of that General Zorawar which you could see right in the his childhood only. Just quickly recap that what took, I mean, what made the General Zorawar what he was.
sir, first was incidental. He killed his uncle or cousin. There are two versions. When he was
Okay.
just a teenager, property dispute. He was very fond of riding and swordmanship. So उस गुस्से में आकर उसने अपने को करके then he ran away because he's scared he'll be arrested. He would be arrested. तो वो पहुंच गया हरिद्वार. वहां पे उसको कोई मिल गया किश्तवाड़ पहुंच गए. What you are trying to say, sir? When he joined that time, Gulab Singh was not even Raja. 1813, he was just one of the generals of not even general. He was just a high-ranking official in Maharaja Ranjit Singh's army, but looking after Jammu. Uस time he had gone to meet somebody called there was a rebel in Jammu, Mia Dido. So Mia Dido was a काइंड ऑफ ना जिसको कहते हैं ना दिल में कांटा चुभा हुआ था महाराजा रणजीत सिंह के बिकॉज ही वाज रेबलिंग अगेंस्ट सिख्स हु आर टाइम एंड अगेन कमिंग इनटू जम्मू एंड जो भी कश्मीर से गिफ्ट जाते थे महाराजा रणजीत सिंह के लिए बिकॉज कश्मीर बिलोंग टू महाराजा रणजीत सिंह उनका कंट्री था रास्ते से गिफ्ट आते थे तो ही यूज्ड टू उसको लूट के उसके अंदर गोबर के पथले डाल के ना सर ही यूज्ड टू सेंड इट टू महाराजा रणजीत सिंह तो सिख आर्मी ट्राइड नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स टू कैच हिम किल हिम दे कुंट तो ये जो यंगस्टर्स ऐसे होते हैं सर द पंगा टेकर्स he was maverick kind of a person so he was looking for him to go and join him but Mia Dido had 50 people with him very trusted people and he'll not entertain anybody else so before he could reach and couldn't find him तो थके के बाद जम्मू आ रहा है he met राजा गुलाब सिंह sitting on the banks of तवी river and वहाँ उनकी बात हुई तो जनरल उसने बोला तो नाम क्या है बोला जोरावर सिंह तो he said how are you in fighting he said I'm very good he said नहीं एक बंदा था जिसका नाम जंग बहादुर था और जब लड़ाई लगी सबसे पहले भाग गया तो जोरावर सिंह सेड जब मौका आएगा तो यू विल कम टू नो कि जोरावर सिंह के नाम का आई विल प्रूव इट कि आई एम जोरावर सिंह इज वन हु इज माइटी एंड
Yes.
ब्रेव
It's a
एंड
Persian word.
yes sir that's how so this reply of his fascinated impressed गुलाब सिंह और उसके बाद सर जब हम we talk of his campaigns into across Himalayas but we don't see is that 10 साल when he was governor of Kishtwar, he prepared his army. Sir, he had a high
Yeah.
altitude warfare school. जो हमारा हॉज है, my book, you will see the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was
Absolutely.
a high altitude warfare school established at 14,000 plus, where he trained his troops. He started manufacturing small guns, ammunition factory. He created a
Yes.
garrison called Kishtwar. And people of,
Correct.
I mean, the folklore is my mother-in-law is from there. That उस time ना किश्तवाड़ was like a बहुत बड़ा एक जैसे छावनी बन गई थी, and everybody is only talking of fights. And then he organized logistics. Attack से पहले जगह जगह हर 20 मील के ऊपर there was a small fortification या छोटा camp जहाँ पे राशन रखा गया. And look at his things, sir. Whenever he captured, he allowed no looting of crops, no looting of locals, no molestation. These things are banned. So he'll go capture an area, then buy the stuff from locals. Rations वहां से खरीदते थे. So that kind, and he was a very good administrator, sir. उसके जो लैंड रिफॉर्म सिस्टम, जो टैक्सेशन का सिस्टम था, इवन तिब्बत में ही जस्ट स्पेंड फ्यू मंथ्स, पर जाते वहाँ टैक्सेशन सिस्टम लगा लिया, सर.
Yeah.
What he'll do, he'll take hold of influential people, old people, elders, convince them कि we not come here to loot you, we come here to increase our revenue, which you will be paying through taxes.
Yeah.
And then those guys will go and speak. So I mean, qualities की बात करने लगेंगे सर, तो I mean we need couple of hours.
Endless, yeah.
Yes, sir. So
Col Ajay, when I was reading your book, I
sir,
was reminded of my days in IMA.
sir,
Why? Because you will also recall
sir,
uh, principles of war we were taught.
sir,
And when the way you have explained in your book that all these principles of war, they are unchangeable, independent of time. Zoravar Singh's all campaigns followed these principles of war. Now,
absolutely, sir.
on at that particular age, when there were no roads, there were no mechanical transport, there was no communication. There were more than one thrusts which were going on. Now we also say that you can't move the entire force एक ही जगह से नहीं जा सकती है, उसको अलग अलग रास्ते से जाना है. लेकिन at the time and place of executive, जहां आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव है, सबको वहां पे कंसंट्रेट करना है, concentration of force that is called. Then your effort also have to be economical. All these, and of course the major point, which is administration. A, a little bit about all these principles of war, which are, from times we are learning how to achieve this.
Right. Sir, selection and maintenance of fame. Firstly, he knew that he's going to go across Himalayas. और उस टाइम ये था कि लद्दाख की कहानियां बहुत थी कि वहां जो जाता है वापस नहीं आता, वहां लोग जो है वो आदमी को बकरी बना देते हैं, गधा बना देते हैं. So he swept everything inside, but he understood the terrain and the implication. So 10 years in Kishtwar, his focus was कि अपना एम तो सेलेक्ट कर दिया सर, उसको मेंटेन करने के लिए कैसे उसको अचीव करना है, उसको कैसे मेंटेन करना है, he prepared. And when the time came, then it was relentless offensive action. There were times when he was like, ratio was 1:10, enemy is 10, he is 1. But at one instance I cited in my book, when he was being pushed back, he created a small camp and कुछ लोग बिठा के चाय वाय पीने लगे, तो enemy came and बोला ऐश कर रहे हैं, फिर उनको आराम से अटैक करेंगे, and the larger force is hiding behind the hill. And so he took deception. So wherever he was weak, that is numerical strength, but he had the benefit that his weaponry was much more, it was better than what the Dakis had. So offensive action was, there was nothing called like you give up. Like he never said go and capture this, he said capture and follow the enemy. So these guys will go behind them, and
And
there were times when
he surprised them with time. I mean,
time
his move was extremely,
swift.
telescoped.
And sir, like enemies blown up a bridge. Now how you cross that? Sheep ki skin mein fook bhar ke and crossed. When he was going to Gilgit Baltistan, whole route was taken by enemy, very well dominated. So he took the other bank of the river, जिस पे रास्ता ही नहीं था, and it was winters, glacier टूट रहे थे ऊपर से. जब कुछ नहीं बना, वो दर्द कम्युनिटी के बंदों को पकड़ा सर. रात को जैसे रिवर थोड़ा सा सिकुड़ा सर सर्दी में, उसके ऊपर उन्होंने, those guys were expert in making snow bridges. पूरी आर्मी उस ब्रिज के ऊपर से निकलवा दी सर. And Baltis didn't know, they were facing that side, पीछे से आया. So surprise and cooperation, like I said, like civilian के साथ cooperation, स्कार्दू के king के राजा के साथ cooperation. So he made no enemies. In my book, sir, I think one thing you'll note, I took a lot of pain to understand Ladakhi point of view. It's very easy to write somebody's praise ki he went this, everybody writes that way, but I wanted to understand Ladakhi's point of view. How did they look at Zoravar? was he looked at as somebody who came and looted everybody, destroyed their places of worship? Uh, what did he do? So I got the literature of that era, sir. I was lucky enough. It took me about 6 months. Uh, Handwritten account of the Lama who had welcomed him into when he knew that Zorawar has come. So he went to him with वो जो लगाते हैं ना, you would have seen Ladakhi वो जो white khatak. So he said he gave him a blue and white. He said, why two? He says, because you are the king of earth and you are also ruling the skies. So he kind of pleased him. And उनकी मोनेस्ट्री में आज भी जनरल रावर के कुछ वेपन्स हैं जो सर किसको दिखाते नहीं है. That I couldn't lay my hands on. But the perception was that Zorawar came wherever he went. He firstly didn't plunder. He didn't molest his army didn't molest anybody. Of course, he was taken as an invader, but an invader who came with certain amount of principles. So he gave every time there was a revolt in Ladakh, he went back, crushed it, and gave another chance to Gyalpo, same Gyalpo. And बाद में तंग आ गए धनीसर की तो go across Indus. So Stoke Palace जो है उसको वहाँ पे लेस निकाल के वहाँ पे बिठाया था. So Ladakhis, they don't. आज की generation जो है लद्दाख की सर, because of agendas which float around, there are people who will say कि he is innovator. But when went into contemporary literature, उस टाइम में जो लोगों ने लिखा था सर, उसके 50 साल के बाद लिखा, nobody has cursed him, nobody has criticized him. In fact, he took them. जब बल्तिस्तान लिया तो बाल्तीस और लद्दाखीज के बीच में सदियों का लड़ाई थी सर. They used to fight like mad dogs. जब इन्होंने दोनों एरिया कैप्चर कर लिया, उनकी शांति होगी. पीपल हैव एक्चुअली रिटर्न कि शुक्र है यार, बल्तिस्तान भी जोरावर के पास आ गया, हम भी जोरावर के पास आ गए. नाउ वी आर नॉट फाइटिंग for first time in many centuries. We are not fighting. And wherever he went, he took those people along. Ladakhis were in forefront. When he went into Tibet, the leaders of his columns were Ladakhis and Baltis. So he gave them importance. Okay, मैंने तुमको capture किया, but now you're part of my army. So I trust you with my vanguard.
And it also helps. And the local knowledge also helps.
Yes. And this cooperation.
Because roots.
So.
Routes, what are the challenges en route, how to take thing, how to achieve surprise, all these things, you have to have a thorough knowledge of the, intended area of operation in advance so that you can plan. So local people are the best. That's why you see, we have scouts who are son of the soil. So, and they do a fantastic job there because they are aware and they're, bodies are also acclimatized to that weather.
यहाँ ये था कि he had just won them over. उनके ऊपर उनको हराया हुआ था.
Correct.
But छोटे टाइम फ्रेम में motivate because सर आप vanguard तो आगे भेज दोगे. There's a difference between sending a guide and sending a force which is leading your attack. और वो उल्टा पड़ के अगर आप वापस उनके दुश्मन के करके आपके साथ वापस लड़ाई करें.
That is his leadership quality.
That's how he convinces people, sir. This is something very, very remarkable.
Yeah. A word about, we've spoken about surprise, a word about administration.
Sir, administration, like I said, sir, wherever he went, firstly, though he used to buy supplies from local sources, but he always catered for a situation where there'll be nothing available locally. तो हर 20 मील के आसपास there used to be small fort जिसको वो स्टॉक करते थे, फिर वो आगे जाते थे सर. इनफैक्ट जो अपना एरिया था दिस साइड ऑफ ग्रेट हिमालयन रेंज जाने से पहले ही had created string of posts जिनको स्टॉक किया गया था. And then everybody had the equipment given to them was like we carry now today, sir. There's a survival ration, there's an emergency ration, and then you're carrying your ammunition. So इनफैक्ट जब मैं उनकी डिटेल पढ़ रहा है, एक अपेंडिक्स है जिसमें ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तो ऐसा लगता है कि सर जो मॉडर्न आर्मी हमारी जो आज काम करती है माउंटेन्स में, that's what he was doing. I mean, how many? Almost 200 years back, sir. So that's and like I said, wherever he went, sir, Tibet, sir, they entered in March, April, and December he was no more. But 6 महीने में उन्होंने पूरा वहाँ पे टैक्सेशन सिस्टम लगाया एंड जो भी रेवेन्यू किया, पूरी लैंड की मैपिंग करवाई, थानेदार नियुक्त किए, कलेक्टर्स नियुक्त किए. So when you have this kind of system going instead of plundering the people, so जो ₹1 टैक्स पर हाउस लगाया था जंस्कार में, whatever used to come from there, he used to send to Raja Gulab Singh.
This has come out very loud and clear in your book, sir, that उसने अपने पास कुछ भी नहीं रखा. He was surviving only on his pay and whatever tributes, whatever, I mean, and time and again you have mentioned this at all the places.
Sir, no pay. He took no pay.
Acha, okay. Whatever
हाँ
is
हाँ,
given to him in terms of
राजा गुलाब
rations
सिंह
and clothes.
रियासी में व्हेन ही सेव्ड द फोर्ट, जो भीमगढ़ फोर्ट है, तो
Yeah.
राजा गुलाब सिंह वेंट एंड हग्ड हिम, ही सेड यू आर लाइक माय ब्रदर, ही सेड नाउ आई एम योर ब्रदर, आई कांट टेक पे फ्रॉम यू। थ्रू आउट
Okay.
हिज लाइफ ही नेवर टुक हिज पे, ही नेवर गॉट हिज कपड़ा स्टिच, उसकी ड्रेस जो गुलाब सिंह भेजते थे वही पहनता था। एंड ही
Yeah.
नेवर
I
यूज्ड टू
do
सेंड
understand.
मैसेंजर टेलिंग गुलाब सिंह वी कैप्चर्ड ले और नो, ही विल सेंड द
Yeah.
ट्रिब्यूट, जो पैसा वहां से मिलता था। तो महाराजा गुलाब सिंह यूज्ड टू बी वेरी प्लेजेंटली सरप्राइज, महाराजा रंजीत सिंह, उनको कभी खबर नहीं होती
Yeah.
थी कि वहां पहुंच गया बाल्टी, ही वाज
No, no. You have very rightly said in your book that
सर
Maharaja Gulab Singh used to learn कि ये जीत गया है with the tribute, कि वो
ट्रिब्यूट,
पहले से एडवांस में इंफॉर्मेशन कुछ नहीं है, बस पैसा आ जाता था.
यस
That's very
सर
interesting.
सर
You also, respect for the general in Tibetan. You have mentioned in your book regarding, how exactly the children of Tibetans. Please tell us about what Tibetans thought of General Zorawar.
सर टिबेटियन हैड ए बिलीफ दैट जनरल जोरावर सिंह इज वन पर्सन जो आया है तिब्बतियंस को खत्म करने के लिए। दिस वाज द बिलीफ दे हैड व्हेन दे हर्ड अबाउट हिज कमिंग इनटू टिबेट। तो उसको एंड देन दे वर टोल्ड कि नॉर्मल बुलेट से नहीं मरेगा, दिस इज लार्जर देन लाइफ काइंड ऑफ
Yeah.
उसका बन गया था। तो जब उनको मारा गया था सर लास्ट में, व्हेन डोगरा वाज स्पेंट, दे स्पेंट 3 नाइट्स आउट इन द ओपन सराउंडेड बाय एनिमी, एंड देयर केम ए स्टेज जब उनके पास जलाने के लिए लकड़ी नहीं थी रात को, तो राइफल के बट तोड़ के उन्होंने रात जो 11 और 12 की रात, दिसंबर की रात, उन्होंने, यू कैन इमेजिन सर, टेम्परेचर वाज अबाउट -20 -25 डिग्रीज, वो बट जला के उन्होंने रात को अपने हाथ से, और सुबह जब राइफल चलाने लगे तो राइफल से हाथ चिपक गया उनका। तो दे वर डाउन, उस टाइम दे न्यू एंड इज इनएविटेबल। तो जब उनको पहली गोली लगी तो द फर्स्ट बुलेट विच हिट हिम वाज मेड ऑफ सिल्वर, बिकॉज टिब्बतियंस हैड बिलीव कि इनको नॉर्मल बुलेट से नहीं मार सकते, इट हैज टू बी सिल्वर। तो सिल्वर बुलेट बना के लाए थे वो। देन ही फेल एंड ही गॉट अप, हिज मास्टर हैंड वाज इंजर्ड, सो ही पिक्ड अप हिज स्वॉर्ड एंड स्टार्टेड फाइटिंग। तो उसको जब उन्होंने लांसर्स वगैरह जब मारे उन्होंने, 12-14 लोगों ने घेर के, देन वाज स्केयर्ड कि इसको हाथ कौन लगाए, ही वाज नोन कि he'll rise from the ashes kind। तो फिर उनके पैर में उन्होंने रस्सी बांध के दे ड्रैग्ड हिम फॉर अ व्हाइल एंड दे अंडरस्टूड। नाउ दे सेड कि अब इनको, इफ यू लीव हिम इंटैक्ट, तो he'll be reborn maybe 20 years later and come and crush us again। So they cut his head and the head was taken to Lhasa। Now the body was left there। उस बॉडी के टुकड़े किए गए सर, छोटे 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 टुकड़े, बिकॉज दे सेड कि जो भी लेडी वाइफ, किसी लेडी जो प्रेग्नेंट है तिब्बत में, अगर वो इनके मीट के टुकड़े को अपने गले में एक सूत्र बना के पहनेगी एक तबीज की तरह, तो जो बच्चा पैदा होगा जोरावर सिंह की तरह होगा। सो इट वाज सोल्ड। I didn't write this whole thing because I have no evidence. So like you've seen, everything is supported by evidence in my book, sir. I didn't want to mention this,
But
but
this is what the folklore is, yeah.
folklore is that very expensive rate, few grams were bought by people and taken home, and then और उनके कुछ जो टुकड़े बचे थे कुछ, वो उन्होंने अपने घर के बाहर लगाए कि भूत नहीं आएगा अंदर, no death। And then they
Even his
created a
bones and his flesh
yes,
and everything, तावीज बना
everything,
के उसको.
yes। Then they created a chotan, which is a
Yeah.
mark of respect, which exists even today।
Yes.
That chotan stands there। So this is what it is. This one,
This
yes,
is the Chotan.
yes।
Briefly for our viewers, please explain what exactly is a Chotan.
Such chotan in Buddhism is a symbol of faith. So you're supposed to respect it. Where you see a chotan, you're supposed to
Correct.
give a nod or bend your head. It's decorated. It's made of stones, and then you have all the prayer flags around it.
Yes.
It
Yes.
also works as landmark in a very vast arid
Absolutely.
country.
Absolutely.
So there's another book I wrote about Ladakh. It's called
Yeah.
Ladakh Simplified, to
Correct.
understand what are the symbols. So Chotan is one of the symbols. It is like mini stupa, sir. Mini
Yeah.
stupa. And it is not manned. Nobody stays there. So this you find across Tibet and Ladakh.
Actually, they believe these prayer flags with the wind that is blowing, because generally
Yes,
it purifies the wind that you take.
yes,
In fact, there are a lot of them on Bhutan Tawang border. I've seen Chotan Naimala
everywhere.
and all this.
Yes,
Everywhere you will find this. And
sir,
वहाँ पे बाकायदा अब तो वहाँ पे मेला लगता है,
sir,
time के साथ साथ people go up to there for their rituals.
sir.
So I think we have by and large covered most of the details. Col Ajay will go on to the questions.
Sir.
Just one sec. Yeah. I'll start with this question. Actually,
So,
our viewers have given very, very relevant questions.
so
Shitak Kuthari ask, are General Zorawar conquers taught about studied in our military academies, but he's another hidden gem of a military genius about whom not many know. Fighting in Ladakh in 1800s wasn't easy.
fighting Ladakh even today is not easy, Kothari साहब. एक इस पे मैं I'll just tell you one thing. Yes, army is aware. We've been army people in army know about General Zorawar and our country cousins unfortunately don't know. मैं आपको एक मजे की बात बताता हूँ. हमारे ऑथर्स ने काफी ने लिखा है in good publications and books कि जनरल जोरावर was Napoleon of the East.
Yes,
तो
Napoleon of the
मैंने
East.
अपनी बुक में सर I just compared. The only thing advantage Napoleon had, he was born few decades, I mean 2.5 decades before General Zorawar was born. That's it. Napoleon crossed only one pass in life called Saint Bernard Pass, which is on top of Alps,
Correct.
which is 8,000 feet, sir. Or उस time when he was going down south, annual traffic on that along that pass was about 20,000 people every year. Traders and merchants they will cross. Here was Zorawar Singh, who's crossing 17,000, double the height. A pass which even today people don't cross. If you go to Kishtwar, they actually call it pass of death. तो
Yes.
किश्तवाड़ से जंस्कार कुछ जाता है ना सर, किश्तवाड़ी जाके पास तक छोड़ के आते हैं, जंस्कार वाले वहां से लेके जाते हैं, they don't cross आज भी. So
Correct.
and when Hitler when Napoleon was sitting on that monastery, sir, he camped there for about few months. उस monastery के सर 800 किलो चीज खा गया, उनकी पूरी वाइन का स्टॉक खत्म हो गया. दे एंड मीट दे एट एवरीथिंग. तो मोनेस्ट्री ने कहा भाई बिल दे दो, तो वो तो चले गए. द मोनेस्ट्री रेज्ड अ बिल ऑफ 40,000 फ्रैंक्स
Okay.
दैट टाइम टू फ्रेंच गवर्नमेंट, जिसकी फाइनल पेमेंट सर 1980s में जाके हुई है. सो हाउ आर यू कंपेयरिंग आवर गाय जनरल हु वेंट विद 4,000 पीपल एंड हिटलर हैड 40,000 एंड डबल द हाइट ऑफ क्रॉसेस, नो इक्विपमेंट, पीपल आर वेयरिंग, आई मीन. तो हमने अपने को जैसा हमें वी आर फैसिनेटेड, तो
There
हमने
is
उसको
there
नेपोलियन.
is there is no doubt.
सर
After reading your book, I realized कि यार Tibetan ठीक ही सोचते थे. He was a superhuman. Yeah.
एंड
And
कॉलिंग हिम
what
नेपोलियन
loyalty?
इज
Sorry.
calling him Napoleon is downgrading him, sir. Why should you call him Napoleon of East? He's General Zorawar of India. I think
And
that's
I
how.
read while researching for today's podcast, I read there is a PLA ground forces entire life of General Zorawar. They have studied the routes that they have gone, and in fact, I was pleasantly surprised to see that this is the heading is that this is the way we will fight in Western in Ladakh. The heading is or Western Tibet Day as they call it, that we will this is the way to fight, and they are actually quoting General Zoravar's conquest. And like I had said in the beginning, that Himalaya में तो और कोई लड़ाई नहीं, हाई एल्टीट्यूड वॉरफेयर हिस्ट्री में, और इंडियन आर्मी भी नहीं लड़ी, और हमारे को यस वी आर. Next question, quickly you can add. Ask sir, how did General Zorawar manage his logistic during his all campaigns in Himalayas?
तो मैंने जैसे रघुनंदन जी बताया कि wherever he used to go 20 miles के ऊपर he used to have his posts, small detachments, well stocked. तो ग्रेट हिमालयन रेंज को क्रॉस करने से पहले ही उन्होंने पूरा स्ट्रिंग बना लिया था. Once he crossed over, so he again established posts and also forces like instead of plundering. So आगे जाते थे तो एक one leg on the ground जो हम आज भी फॉलो करते हैं फौज में, that he kept always. There was something
And
where
like you said in your book that जैसे जैसे आगे आगे जाता गया, एक छोटा सा फोर्ट बनाया या कोई प्लाटून बनाई, वहां 10-10, 12-12, 15-15 लोग छोड़ दिए, and then he used to move ahead, that in case of an emergency if he has to fall back, then there is a place to fall back.
he did. In fact, once he had to fall back.
Yeah.
And all these places were also their supply lines. So
Correct.
logistics were being maintained to
Yes.
that.
Yes. Okay. Next question is future DGRT. Ask brilliant show sirs, offbeat question. What will I be missing if I don't make it to IMA, and what shall be the advantage of going to OTA? Asking since I have made the cut for OTA and IMA attempts over. Yeah, I thought this guy, we must honor him.
Yeah, future DGRT, if you are worth your salt, nothing matters. Route doesn't matter. You'll reach where you want to reach,
Absolutely.
whether OT, IMA doesn't matter. Be good, do good, and जनरल जोरावर को देख लो,
Uh,
from where he rose and where he went, where he
I think
reached.
he got motivated by General Zorawar's story. That's why this question came. Okay.
So
Next is Sam Keating. Ask, is naming one tank after General enough to honor his memory and recognize his contributions? I mean, I know it's his start. What surprises me is that why has he kept hidden from us for so many decades?
the, बस unfortunate truth है what you said. Luckily, this December, there's a Zorawar auditorium in Jammu University. You'll be surprised, sir. It was made about 2 decades back, but it
Okay.
had no portrait, no bust, no story about him. तो अभी जाके इस बार लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब आए and there's a bust which was
Yeah,
installed,
yeah,
and
I
he
saw
also,
that in your book. Yeah.
yes, sir, and he also promised that one chapter on General Zorawar Singh will be part of textbooks in J&K. I would
Okay.
rather taking this question that this his chapter should be part of his Shivaji, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. These are people, Maharana Pratap Singh. They're all, I mean, heroes of their times. ये तो सारे टेक्स्ट बुक्स में पढ़ाना चाहिए.
नहीं,
And
और
military
मोर
history.
ओवर सी, एक तो हमारी हिस्ट्री है, वी मस्ट फील
Sure,
प्राउड ऑफ आवर हिस्ट्री, प्लस इट
sure,
इज इन आवर सिचुएशन, आवर सर्कमस्टांसेस, आवर एनवायरनमेंट दैट दीज पीपल हैव फॉट एंड वन.
sure.
Why are we reading about some campaign in South Africa and reading
So,
about Montgomery's exploits in Myanmar? Why can't Zorawar Singh's exploits in Himalayas be read? But
sir,
yes,
partly,
now that you have written a book, and there are a few others also, people are writing, so that awareness is coming. And even I was told that even in our courses now, Zorawar Singh is being very seriously taught.
no, so best way is textbooks in schools. And I mean, like you said, why? Okay, we study Montgomery, we study everybody else. Why don't we study Zorawar Singh in a part B, part D? Why don't abhi staff course mein there's a personality. So I also am instructor in USA, pre-staff. So is
Yeah,
bar again there's a foreign entity. Why
Vietnam,
can't we have
Vietnam.
Colonel Rinchin? Why can't we have Colonel Rinchin, sir? Ladakh is current and contemporary. दो
Right.
महावीर चक्र, एक सेना medal, एक mentioned dispatches. These are people you must study in formally in army courses, and I mean promotion exams, and textbooks में तो chapters होने चाहिए, sir. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next question is our regular viewer JBJP. Ask, sir, you have general of not general or whatever knowledge. Please start a channel on history of land of 5 rivers of Jammu, Punjab, and Himachal for people today. History information is much required for this land. Yeah. So
Thank you.
you
He's
can
been following me on all the
consider this
channels, sir.
suggestion.
So kind.
Consider this suggestion, and I actually don't mind doing it.
I think we'll do it here only, sir.
Yeah.
Managing a channel for me is very difficult, sir.
Okay. Why our army didn't follow swift military action like General Zorawar's combat to conquer Ladakh, Gilgit, Baltistan, Kailash, Mansarovar, and Western Tibet? Colonel RP has asked this question.
Sir, Jai Hind, sir. 1947, sir, we were, when Skardu was with General Brigadier that time, Colonel Sherjang Thapa. Skardu had an airstrip, which happens to be Chinese airstrip today. All that he needed was one airdrop, sir. And that airdrop was never given to him. Forget about landing. It was possible to land there. But then we had Britishers mastering over us. और हमारे वो अंदर 47 में हम यहाँ कोई कहता कि वो भी इशू है कि हम उरी के आगे क्यों नहीं गए, हम उसके आगे क्यों नहीं गए. Similarly, your question is right, sir. 47 में not only 47, 71 कर्नल चौहान रिंचिंग रीच तुरतुक 12 घंटे चाहिए थे. एंड स्कार्दो में पीपल वर वेटिंग कि हार लेके रिंचिन साहब आ रहा है, उसको गले में हार डालना है. एंड ही वाज से सीज फायर हो गया, सीज फायर हो गया. So, sir, I have no answers, but history tells us where we've been wrong. And high time we learn, sir. I hope. Yes, both these guys could have taken Skardu at least.
Yes.
रोक
Colonel
लिया
Ajay,
गया.
answer to your previous question. No, I remember what you have written in the book that अगर हम अपने एक्चुअल हीरोज के बारे में पढ़ेंगे और उनके बारे में जानेंगे, rather than making people who have not done so well, but through narrative their contribution has improved. So तो थोड़ी हिस्ट्री गड़बड़ है तो फ्यूचर भी गड़बड़ होगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर, हिस्ट्री वापस आती है. इट रिपीट्स
हाँ.
इटसेल्फ. सर,
One last question we will take, and then I think Raghunandan has said, ask what a what a mistake General Zorawar did in his campaign in Himalayas, both tactical and strategic.
Strategically, no mistake. Tactically, also no mistake. People say he
Uh,
was overstretched. No, his lines of supplies were not overstretched.
right.
Where he was surprised, only time he got surprised by Tibetans was there was a pass which was between Lhasa and Mansarovar area where he was already sitting well established. That pass had closed. So his information and the belief was that अभी 6 महीने तिब्बत से कोई नहीं आने वाला. And that time Raja Gulab Singh was helping Britishers fight against Afghans in Peshawar.
Correct.
In fact, Afghan war was happening only because of ROP being done by Dogras under Raja Gulab Singh. जोरावर सिंह न्यू कि 6 महीने के अंदर वहां खत्म हो जाएगा, यहाँ reinforcement आ जाएंगी. बट हुआ क्या, like what Brigadier Bhatia has referred, कि locals have the knowledge of terrain. So there was another place to the north of that pass, which Malumla pass था, ये जो बंद था, जो traditional pass था. There was another place from where they could cross. And when they crossed, उन दिनों ना मोबाइल थे ना कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम था.
Communication.
There's a time he got surprised. He had gone beyond, और पीछे से वो आगे. What he had been doing to others was done to him. So it was not his error. People, कई commentator बोलते हैं कि 400 किलोमीटर चला गया था. He had, वो तो किश्तवाड़ से भी 400 किलोमीटर गए थे सर. In fact, once you are in Leh, going to Tibet is easier than going from
Yes.
Kishtwar to Leh.
Oh, then you're rolling down. Actually, there is a plateau only. There is no mountain, serious mountains that you have to climb.
So logistics didn't
Only
beat you.
Janskar ko cross kiya, and you are into the plateaus.
The highland, yes, sir. It was a surprise achieved for once by Tibetan and Chinese together, which actually led to his downfall. Otherwise, his tactics and strategy, I find no mistakes, to best of my knowledge.
Excellent, Col Ajay. Your book was a pleasure reading that book. And like I said, it's got a lot of citations. Anybody who's doing a very serious work, any research that viewers want to do, I very, very strongly recommend this book. And for general knowledge, best is that book is written in very, very simple, extremely simple English, and the readability is excellent. So with this, I think all it remains for me to say thank you to Col Ajay. And we have certain suggestions from people, and there are a few questions also, which I think we will, invite you once again very soon. Thank you very much, Col Ajay, and
Thank you, sir.
goodbye to our viewers. Thank you.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind.